dead.
I've been keeping a close eye on Reanimal because, well, honestly, it looks like one of the most unsettling games I've ever seen in years. But before you take out your mom's credit card to buy it, there are some things you need to know. Let's go!
And to think of all the new sights you must be seeing.
Why this sibling story hits so hard? We follow a brother and a sister who are returning to a broken version of the island where they grew up, and their goal is to save their missing friends. But the island itself seems to be using their own memories against them. Now, I find that mix of childhood nostalgia and horror to be the most effective part of the game. It makes every location feel like a memory. Now, can we compare this feeling to playing as James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2 with his distorted memory? Well, yes. A big yes.
I know you won't forget.
Co-op horror or solo nightmare? You have two different ways to experience this. You can play in co-op or online, sharing goosebumps with a friend. I've noticed that playing with someone else makes the tension a shared challenge, but playing solo is a completely different thing. In solo mode, you're accompanied by an AI sibling. This will be much more lonely, and I know that we'll have company, but it's AI after all. In some way or the other, you will be isolated. How the monsters actually hunt you. I have a bittersweet opinion when it comes to jump scares, even though they're important for horror games. However, the creatures in Reanimal actually hunt you. They listen for your footsteps, patrol specific areas, and react according to the noise you make. And oops, you don't have the weapons to fight back, so your survival is dependent on stealth and finding the smart routes. Believe me, if they catch sight of you, you're dead meat. The island that remembers you. We'll explore spaces such as a train yard and playgrounds that seem familiar, yet unknown. Long and boring cutscenes? Not at all. Instead, you find out what happened to this place through what you see in the environment. A puzzle inside of a puzzle. Boat rides and getting deliciously lost. Hop on, sailor, we'll be getting a boat as well. You can sail between large island chunks and discover hidden spots. You have the freedom to break away from the main path to hunt for secrets and extra scares. I'm looking forward to rowing around these three main island parts, even if I know something is probably waiting for me under the water. Yikes. Puzzles that keep you tense, not stuck. The puzzles here are designed to keep the momentum going. They focus on physical objects, for example, planks and switches, and using the surroundings to your advantage. Because there are always two characters, you're always thinking how they can work together. I hate it when puzzles in horror games are like a chore, but in Reanimal, they seem to flow smoothly. So, don't worry, you won't get stuck for an hour or two. Little Nightmare's DNA. Cranked up. If the art style is familiar, that's because Reanimal comes from the original team behind Little Nightmares. I should warn you, they've clearly decided to go even darker this time. While Little Nightmares had a bit of a dark fairy tale vibe, Reanimal appears to be more terrifying. They took all the things that worked in their previous games and made them better. If you thought the janitor or the twin chefs were creepy, wait until you see what they've made for this island. A camera that makes you feel trapped. The camera work in this game is a detail that I think often goes unnoticed. It's a dynamic camera that tries to keep both siblings on the screen at all times and creates claustrophobic angles that make even a simple walk down a hallway feel like a challenge. I've seen that the camera will glide and tilt to show you the scale of the world, and of course it's designed to make you vulnerable. You can't spin the camera around to see what's behind you. You're stuck with the view the game gives you. Light and darkness are characters too. The dark is almost a physical thing that's trying to swallow you. Each sibling has their own small light source, maybe a lantern or a candle, but the light only reaches a short distance. So, pick your paths carefully. In the demo, I've had instances where I was staring into the dark, waiting for my light to catch the stare of an eye or a movement. Every time your light flickers, your heart skips a beat. set pieces that go from quiet to chaos. The pacing here is smart. Reanimal is great at building up a quiet atmosphere where all you can hear are your own footsteps, and then suddenly, chaos. One of my favorite examples from the demo involves a chase through a train car with a creature that has terrifyingly long arms. You go from creeping through the shadows to a full-on marathon for your life in a matter of seconds. Masks, secrets, and extra routes. For those of you who want to explore every nook and cranny, you're going to be busy. You can find collectible masks hidden throughout the game, along with various side routes that reward you for being curious. Sometimes you'll find a hidden piece of a story, and other times you'll find a new way to get scared. And, I'm the type of player who will risk a death to see what's at the end of the dark hallway, and this game understands gamers like me. Co-op moments that only work with two brains. There are moments where you have to split tasks, right? One person holding a switch while the other runs through a closing gate, and, timing your movements perfectly to avoid being caught. Actual teamwork, you know what I'm saying? No tagging along, just real teamwork. Saving each other from being grabbed is another huge part. It's different from playing alone because you're communicating and checking in on your partner. Instead of worrying about yourself, you're worrying about both of you. You won't see this dynamic in many horror games, How tough is it, really? I'll be honest with you, it's pretty unforgiving. There are areas that are stressful and require a lot of precision. However, from what I've seen, the checkpoints are relatively nice. Players who have spent time with the demo have said it feels fair, and although you're going to die, it'll be because you missed a cue or mistimed a jump, not because of some cheap tactics or one-shot kill spikes like we see in Mega Man. What the island looks like in motion. I wish I could properly describe how gloomy this game looks in motion. Big structures looming out of the fog, and creatures that look straight out of Stranger Things. Even the way the siblings move is funny, but it's very close to being how you and I would move in scary situations. The vibe. Jump scare machine or slow dread. Worry that you'll get a heart attack every 5 minutes? Well, don't be. That's not to say, though, that there aren't jump scares. There definitely are, but they come at the end of a long period of tension. I personally prefer this low burn approach to horror, and I'm keeping my lights on after playing. How long it might take you. Based on everything I've seen and the way the developers talk about the game, Reanimal will be a very focused experience. It's not a 100-hour open world game, and I think that's a good thing. The demo suggests a campaign that is well paced. You're probably looking at a cinematic horror story that won't overstay its welcome. Previews have described it as tight, meaning every moment serves the story. I'd much rather have 6 to 8 hours of high-quality terror than 40 hours of filler, wouldn't you? Why you might replay it. Even though it's a focused story, there's a plenty of reason to go back. As I mentioned, the side islands and collectible masks mean you're certainly going to miss things on your first run. But beyond that, the biggest reason to replay is the difference between solo and co-op play. They're two different versions of the same nightmare. If you played it first with a friend, going back and doing it alone with the AI sibling will give you a much lonelier perspective on the story. And, it's worth doing just to see how the atmosphere shifts. Platforms and demo access. You want to play Reanimal now, don't you? And you should. The demo is available on several platforms. You can find it on PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X and S. There's even word that it'll be a standout title for the Switch too. Being able to try it for free is a huge plus. I definitely recommend downloading it and giving it a spin before you commit to the full purchase. Just, maybe don't play it right before bed, okay? Can your PC run it? For my PC players out there, you want to check the system requirements. The game is visually stunning, and all that detail takes some power to run smoothly. I'd suggest checking the minimum and recommended specs on the Steam page. For unsure gamers, the demo is the perfect way to test how it runs on your machine. There's nothing worse than a horror game that stutters right when you're trying to run away from a monster. So, yeah, definitely give the demo a test run first to be safe. Price tag and additions. To wrap things up, let's talk about the cost. Reanimal is being released as a complete single story. It's not an early access title, and it's not a live service game. You're buying a finished piece of product. There's no official price tag yet, but it'll cost you between $35 and $50. Simple as that. I'm really glad we're getting more original horror like Reanimal. It's clearly made by people who love the genre, you know? So, when are you playing Reanimal? Let me know in the comments.